might start to storyboard. This is a storyboard by the students where they were asked to do one drawing about a part of their weekend, another drawing about a part of their weekend, and another drawing about the last thing they did on the weekend. Just that. We always have on a Monday our review of what we did on the weekend. I always have students with me. One student is saying, how was your weekend? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? And facilitating that conversation. Now each student comes up with their storyboard up to the front and plays this on the overhead. And they are beginning leadership and storytelling to the public. And we start to add, if you can see that, the camera shots, like close-up, mid-shot, etc. So they're in layers, we begin to develop those kinds of capacities. I wanted to show you a physical manifestation of storyboarding. This is a little maquette, a little theater. Instead of blah, 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 writing it, which was very hard for them, they began to play out their story. And this story was called Zombie Island. And the production company was called Wizzo.com. They came up with this, all right? Their job was to make a story on an island with said puppet. So this happened in 3 parts. There was a beginning, a middle, and an end, and credits. Credits, well, there was voices. Again, all kind of nonverbal, because doing lines is very difficult with students that don't have very good memory, and you don't see them very often. VSA comes in, we might come in twice a week. We're not working on lines, let me tell you. But they have their own lines. We produced this through a photography slideshow. Their story was told. And when we had the slideshow playing, if they wanted to do voiceovers and sounds, and they could, and they loved it. They know how to do that. They know. Transition to a little harder project, or a little, not harder, but a little more sophisticated, plus a little less time in the classroom, like a 90-minute session. I provide the background, magazines. And the story is one scene in, one scene out, and the last scene in. So this is an ABA story development, and the characters were made in 10 minutes. Because the purpose is not learning how to make a puppet. It's not. It's learning character development and story development. So I have men's clothing catalogs all cut up and ready to go to choose, right? Like 100 of them, no, 20 outfits and things, different faces, and they combine as they wish. And it's a taped project. I have the tape ready to go, and they just put it on a stick, tape it, and it's what's called a dry project. There's no waiting for things to dry, and it's not messy, and there isn't a glue mess. Oh my gosh, you know, like, oh, there's a wall. Whoops. And and it can be a full-size character. Like if we just fold it, you don't even have to cut. Most of the students are very bad at cutting, so don't count on it. Just don't cut. Put that on a stick. There you go. You know, multicultural, very important. You know, I have 3 Mexican students and a black student, and let me tell you, all the magazines are white people. So you gotta watch it. You really have to watch that. That's part of inclusion too. Some of my students speak Spanish. Some of them speak sign language. Materials home in Spanish and English. Notes home about trips, etc. Very important that you honor. I suggest that you keep it very straight and within the context of everyday life before you go to something like this. Okay, one of the fine arts skills in either photography or videography is telling a story. How do you tell a story? And again, hands-on. At first, I work very prescriptive. Students get a box, they form teams, they get around a little table, they select one indoor scene that I've already pre-selected, they select one outdoor scene, and they go back to the original indoor scene. So we have a beginning, middle, and end, which we're working on as far as terms. And then they select their characters. They each have a character, but I prescribe the story. I say, you're going to meet inside. You're going to suggest that you go for a walk, and so they're playing this out, and that someone gets stuck under a rock. So I give them the problem. And they can solve that any way that they want. So that's their creativity. And then they come back and they have a celebration. They're all adults, they use their own voice. We overlay more sophisticated learning, we overlay a lighting lesson. And 3 people, it's a 3-people team, have each a little flashlight, and we learn about front lighting and side lighting and back lighting and fill lighting and special effects. Like I'll have some silver paper and we'll flash it around, and that's a 1 hour and a half lesson from beginning to end. Then we can get a little more sophisticated and provide backgrounds that give them an idea if they read, but you know, we'll read it for them and explain it for them that this story then is going to be about bullying. Take it away. Now that's a little out there, you know, when you say, take it away, many of these students, that is too hard. You have to say, this is about bullying at school between 2 girls, and the guy is the counselor. You know, I mean, you have to be a little more prescriptive, or they can't start. I find that students are, they're either 3 million directions or nothing. And there has to be sort of a some kind of parameter for them to open and enter into. What a blast, you know. I don't go here first because I believe in doing stories that are generic to almost everybody that I know. They know about a walk. And I wouldn't say going to Disneyland, that's not generic knowledge for many students. This might not be generic knowledge for many students. It has to be within their world, which is basic stuff. Home, walks, restaurants, school, bullying, not the moon, because that's not tangible often. I'm not saying you can't go on to other creative things, but keep it small. The purpose is to learn how to tell a story and to learn how to film and learn lighting, not how creative and, you know, we can be. It's funny, you kind of almost have to subtract some of the creativity to concentrate the learning in the right direction. One more thing about access: students with wheelchairs cannot reach this stage unless they're here, so that has to be planned out. You know, you can't be over here and have a reach of this far and be playing in here. So accessibility, physical closeness has to be worked out. Also safety and success. Painting, right? That's disaster in a classroom. Put water in that, you're going to have a mess. Put water in this. I like good materials for students. I like acrylic paint. I like real brushes, but not fine little brushes. Big success-based things. If you use this at a palette, mess. Get a bigger palette. Put a little paint in there. Right? Just those kind of things make a big difference. Tape, I use tape a lot. Wimp, good. This is not going to work. It's going to fall apart. You know, get some big honking tape. It's my friend. Okay. Sponge painting, some like people can't even. This is too much. They're going to hold this, right? Maybe they have one hand that works barely, right? So maybe you have to put the whatever you're painting on a clipboard and bring it to them. they can paint. You work it out.